on our show, Charlie Cox, the man without fear himself, Daredevil.
I like to think of Matt as a little bit of an alcoholic, so he puts on the suit, and there's no way he's going to get home. It could be 2 hours, it could be 4 days.
And later, we visit with the king of collectibles, James Commissar.
Batman, the real costume from the first season.
It's like holding the Shroud of Turin. Holy crap, what's next? A boss of mine from Heroes, who now runs Marvel TV, Jeph Loeb, is stopping by.
Daredevil's a perfect example. You don't want to have a foggy running around the Daredevil costume.
What? That was season 3 to me. All that and a lot more tonight on Geeking Out. Geeking Out, I'm Greg Grunberg. I'm Kevin Smith, and tonight it's going to be a marvelous evening of entertainment as we sit around. Thank you very much, no pun intended. Yeah. As we talk to the folks who are generating some of your most favorite Marvel television shows over on Netflix and elsewhere. And plus, we're just going to talk about comic books on TV in general. You watching a lot of comic books on TV?
Yes. Personally, I'm loving Daredevil and Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones, to me, it's so grounded, it's so real, it's so gritty, and I could see myself living in that world, as opposed to another show that I actually really like and I'm watching, which is Gotham, but it's the end of the world. Like, there's not a real, like, sort of situation in that world. But I want to watch that world. I can't get enough of it.
It's not as identifiable, Gotham, as, say, the worlds that they depict in the Marvel Netflix shows. In Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage is about to begin, and then Iron Fist, and then the next thing is a miniseries that brings them all together called The Defenders.
Which is amazing.
World building. Avengerizing the universe is what they call it in the 70s. Like, $6 Million Man begat the Bionic Woman, and suddenly you had a universe, a small universe, and they'd had other spin-offs for TV.
But they didn't plan it ahead of time. This is the way I look at it. I say, okay, Marvel has all these great characters and properties, and they want to do all these different shows, but to announce at the beginning that the Defenders, or they're going to be interlocked and they're all going to be working together. Now I see it as one. I've got to consume it as one. I'm going to do it because I want to see how they're all going to interconnect. So I think it's brilliant. They didn't do that back in the day. Back in the day, it was $6 Million Man was so successful. Oh, let's try Bionic Woman and,
let's spin off. They called them spin-offs then.
You are about to show us an interview that you did with Charlie Cox.
That's right, man. The man without fear himself, gentleman plays Daredevil. I went and wrote that character for a little bit. Like right before Dogma came out, I got to work on Daredevil. It was my first comic book work for a character I didn't own. And so I did it with Joe Quesada over at Marvel, and I've got a deep affinity for the character. I wrote Matt Murdock's voice, but he defined Daredevil, and he is Matt Murdock, and we got to talk to him on a roof. I spoke to Daredevil on a roof.
On a rooftop in New York.
It's kind of cool. It isn't the daylight, though, so I don't know if that counts, but let's check it out. So I come to Daredevil not just as a longtime fan, but also as a guy who wrote the character at one point. When you watch the first episode of Daredevil, you put on Matt Murdock like a second skin. Were you familiar with the books?
No, not at all. I was by then, but when I got the job, not at all.
So they call you up, they're like, who wants you to play Daredevil? You're like, who's that? Which one is that?
Yeah, well,
Is he an Avenger? What is he then? Oh, Defender. That's pretty good.
In the period of time waiting for I guess I auditioned and then I had screen tests.
Right. And it wasn't just you. Did I think about it?
A bunch of us, yeah.
Well, the Marvel Universe begins with Iron Man, and Robert Downey Jr. was put through screen tests. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So from the top down, they're apparently very sticky about who puts on the suit.
That's one of the things that I get from being around the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I think is so brilliant, is that you really do feel like you're in a world where the most important people around are the characters.
Yes. Who's more fun to play, Daredevil or Matt Murdock?
I think from an actor's point of view, Matt Murdock.
I would imagine. That's why.
Because I think it's such a gift as an actor to be given all these kind of conflicting feelings and emotions and drives. I like to think of Matt as a little bit of an alcoholic. So he puts on the suit and all bets are off, right? He doesn't know when he's going to get home. And it could be 2 hours, it could be 4 days. And I think Matt Murdock suffers from all the repercussions of what Daredevil does.
There's a Daredevil purist this guy's been reading for years. One of the most interesting aspects of the character that other comic characters didn't have is the dude, he liked to have sex. This is a dude who's just like...
It was a girlfriend.
Yes, on rooftops. And he was a guy who made out because they were like, you poor blind man, he's gorgeous and stuff. So he's had, a lot of lovers. So when they did him and Claire, before, they ever got to Karen, and the next season it was like, well, it's him in a lecture.
Yeah, that plays really nicely alongside the Catholic guilt,
Absolutely. Which were you raised Catholic? So was I. Maybe that's why the character always appealed to me and stuff. You're able to bring just that little extra edge of I know what it feels like to sin. And have to go into a confession and talk to a stranger.
Right.
And have it play. You work with Rosario, who's a friend of mine.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Isn't she fantastic?
The nicest person. And she's a huge comic book fan. She's a huge nerd, man. And what I love about what they've done with her character, she's the through line. She's the thing that keeps all these 4 shows together before the Defenders.
Yeah, which means she's probably going to be at the heart of the Defenders miniseries. I'm guessing. I know you're going to say.
I don't even know. They don't tell me. Dude, I will get more information from you. I was doing this play in Manhattan. I would leave the play and there's lots of Daredevil fans outside. I'm getting information of those guys. They're telling us. I found out that way that we were shows being doing a 13 minute show.
That's on season 3. You're like, oh, it is? Great. Yeah, man, the fans will take you far. Count it up.
The thing about being Daredevil on this show is he takes a beating every episode.
Yeah. And later on,
I hope that we get to do Daredevil meets
Chainsaw the Bomb, because that's what I'm hoping as well. you prefer? The black that you wore most of season 1, the makeshift suit, or the suit that played through most of season 2?
The John Romano Jr.
Is that what you guys call it, the JRJ?
Yeah,
That's what it is, man. It's from the
vigilante, but that's where it's from. That's like really easy to wear. It's really easy to use the bathroom with, all that stuff, which is important. You have to think about that stuff. But the red suit is genuinely protects me. When you're doing these things, you're getting tagged. John Bernthal was kicking me in the stomach left, right, and center when we were doing those scenes. Yeah, man. There was one scene we did on a boat, fight scene we did on a boat in season 2. The first move is I'm on the floor, he kicks me in the stomach. Yeah. I roll over, right? So the first couple of times he's tagging me, and I'm like, I don't want to say anything, because as soon as you say anything, he's going to be thinking about it. And I want him to really enjoy it. I want to
as generous as another performer. You're like, let him say that.
After like 3 or 4 times, I was like, dude, you gotta stop kicking me in the stomach.
It hurts.
But the thing about being Daredevil on his show is he takes a beating every episode.
Yeah, there are times in fight sequences where it's like I couldn't tell.
And I have an amazing I can't even begin to talk about this without mentioning Phil Silvera and Chris Brewster. I mean,
people that are there on set.
Yeah, Phil's the stunt coordinator, and Chris is a world champion martial artist who's my stunt double. Yeah.
So what about the hallway fights?
So season 1 that required a huge amount of choreography. So that is predominantly Chris, and I'm still learning at this point.
How do they swamp you in? Because it is
when you go in and out of the rooms,
absolutely seamless.
I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to. I come in at the beginning, I do the whole thing with the door, and then the door opens, I throw a punch and a kick, and the guy goes flying.
You go through, the door comes closed.
And the guy comes flying through the door, and that was Chris coming out.
He takes over for the role.
Yeah, and I remember going in like the first or second take, throwing the kick, doing the punch, and hitting the pole, one of the poles with my finger, and injuring myself.
So after the student's doing the hard work, you're like, ow.
Can't tell anyone because he's doing a 7-minute fight scene. Right. But the second season, the one that goes down the stairwell,
the amazing stairwell fight sequence, which is like the action highlight almost of season 2 until you get into the prison fight.
A lot of that is me, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is because it's a fake one shot, so there's lots of morphing. It was nice that a year later I was able to do much more of it. I'd kind of learned more and I trained more and all that kind of stuff.
So we've been sitting here talking to you, and this is what you sound like, but on the show, you're flat out, you sound like a kid raised in the kitchen. How difficult is it to switch from one accent to the other?
So, really, for me, really hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you work with a linguist?
Oh, God, I've done hours and hours. It's the one area that, for the longest time, I genuinely thought I would never play in America on television.
What is a repetition of just saying things in American accent?
It's little things that give you away, like hesitations. So if I'm speaking in my accent and then I think about a word, I'll say, and that sound,
even that sound
is different in an accent. Right. So it's like you've got to learn to hesitate in an accent.
Even a throwaway moment like that.
Yeah, you got to be, because anything like that will give you away. And then I do this thing which is a little embarrassing, but you kind of have to. The job is more important, so I get over it. Which is I stay in it for a month before.
You're one of those cats.
Yeah,
so once you start doing, you're in it.
When I work on the show, when I first meet them, they think, oh, he's not one of those guys. I get over that, and then by the time we're filming, then it's like old news, right? No one cares.
It's so weird because you imagine the biggest hurdle is you have to do all this physical stuff in the middle of acting. You have to pretend that you're blind. You do all these things, and then on top of the thing you're worried about most is I cannot sound British. I have to sound American.
It's just another thing you have to worry about.
One more, I landed on top. I've enjoyed watching season 1 and season 2 all the way through. You're absolutely crushing it.
Hey, man, thank you so much. Yeah.
Well done, bro. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Let me tell you something about Charlie Cox in that interview, man. My nipples were hard. I was a little turgid. Really? Because he's easy to look at. The gun show. Did you see the gun show was in town? He spends a lot of time working out to get ready for Daredevil.
Not only that, the way they shoot their stunts, it's a lot of one shots. Can you imagine? They get it all right. They come up from the parking structure, up into this, and then they're on you.
As the director of film, you're the guy I'm looking at the most going, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball, don't drop. You drop the ball. Grunberg, drop the ball.
Always.
We pulled the grunny. We then back to 1.
We pulled the grunny. Shut it up.
Hey, did you guys watch any TV growing up in the 70s?
No way! You're kidding.
This is the original?
I'm relatively sure that is Marker. And later on,
my honest passion comes from the universe of monsters.
That's your geeking out? That's what you geek out about?
Loeb will geek out.
There's a way to build a universe where clearly you go in with a plan like they did over Marvel. The DC universe, instead of building singly, they bring them all together first and then they'll all get separated.
Okay, but what about TV and film, the 2 divisions? Are they talking?
Never. It's so strange. Isn't that weird? Except here, I'll give you this much. Over at Marvel, there's a little more contact. And as much as we saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, affected by the events of Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. Yeah. But over at the Warner Brothers side, not whatsoever. Zack Snyder was very clear about wanting to hire a brand new Flash, even though the CW has an insanely popular Flash played by Grant Gustin. Yeah. They wanted to bring their own Ezra Miller in to become the new Barry Allen. And a lot of people question that wisdom because, you got a fan base for this actor and this character. Just bring that fan base to the table in the movies, man. People are loyal. If you're following every episode of that show, you'd follow him right to the cinema.
Exactly.
lord, man. It's like the Indiana Jones warehouse.
Exactly. This is James Commissar's warehouse. Behind these doors are some of the sets, all the props from every Star Trek. He has every outfit and every weapon from the original series.
No.
And James has been collecting longer than anybody else. It's become art, fine art, and he is the number one guy in the collector world. We'll meet him. Let's go meet him right now. Ladies and gentlemen, James Commissar.
You're here, man.
Heck of the space, man.
Bring it in.
We've known each other literally for 25 years.
Yeah.
We all thought crazy at the beginning. We were like, what are you doing?
It seems insane that everybody doesn't know the value of this stuff. But when I started in the early 90s, if you had a truck and you show up at the studio and say, hey, man, I'll haul that stuff away, you don't want it, they're like, so you're going to save us on a grip crew? Get it out of here. And now I have 10,000 of these TV treasures. I just picked up Walter White's Meth Lab. We just Sue Sylvester's tracksuits from Glee.
It's awesome.
We're here to save television. I'd like to introduce you to Captain Kirk, original series. Mr. Shatner was known to put on a few pounds during filming, and so they had to have a contouring garment.
Spanx.
I did not say Spanx. For the record, I did not say Spanx. When Captain Kirk and Uhura kissed, this is the first interracial kiss on television. So Star Trek wasn't just a light little show. It was quite important. And this is
incredibly cheap piping that anybody could have just bought. Like, it wasn't created just for them. They were like, let's go grab some
mother make this outfit for her the night before.
So this is a hidden zipper. These were all made by a guy called William Wertice. This is a hidden zipper that goes through. He was very brilliant. So he told me that for the visiting aliens in the 60s, he had less than $10 to create each costume, and normally not more than 2 or 3 days. So it's one thing to look at this and go, wow, this design-wise, this is amazing. To think that they had just a few minutes and a few dollars to create magic, when you contextualize it like that, it's like, wow.
Yeah, incredible.
Hey, did you guys watch any TV growing up in the 70s?
Never.
Get over here. 1, 2, 3.
No way! Are you kidding me?
I am not
You decapitated puppet stuff. It's incredible.
It's beautiful. It's a piece of sculpture.
How proud as a geek fan that, like, when I was a kid, you'd go to a Revolutionary War Museum in Philadelphia and they'd be preserving costumes of Minutemen and whatnot. We've aggregated to this, where it's like, we gotta save puppet stuff.
It's the greatest. Because, by the way, this is what shaped me into who I am today.
This is where I store the costumes. Batman.
This is the real deal?
This is the real costume from the first season.
Riddler's jacket? I am relatively sure that is marker. Is it?
Right. This is Robin the Boy Wonder, and as much talked about trunks.
This symbol right here, which is just a piece of cardboard with printing on it, has changed my life. It's crazy. It's like holding the Shroud of Turin to some degree.
How about George Reeves' original?
You're kidding.
This is the original.
Okay, let's just let this happen.
From The Adventures of Superman. George Reeves, at the end of the season, would cut the emblems off his uniforms and send them to sick kids.
No.
So it took me 10 years to find an emblem that went back on this tunic.
And think about it. This was presented in black and white, so the color really didn't matter. This is amazing.
So I know you're friends with Ben Affleck. When Ben was doing research for the show, he came out and he wanted to see this, and he said to me, I've never told this to anybody, he said, can I try it on? And I said, well, we don't really do that here. And I could see in his face that he wanted to connect with the character. I let him try it on.
Wow.
And the first thing he picked up on is, man, it's so tight and hot. How did he perform in this? And you could tell that he was just taking it all in, and hopefully it influenced.
So what, is he suddenly taking acting seriously? Because he's never once was like, I gotta go research my character.
Didn't live up to what I told you.
I want to go change my pants.
Got it up.
Big question that every fan has. Is he going to wear the headpiece by the end?
You have to watch the show.
Are you kidding me? Hey, welcome back to Geeking Out. Look, when we got the opportunity to do this show, there was one guy that I knew I wanted to, well, two. J.J. Abrams, obviously, and Jeph Loeb. I got the chance to work with Jeph Loeb on Heroes. We bonded. I literally love you, and I cannot thank you enough for being here, and why was I not put in tights on Heroes? Let's just start there.
It's not over.
You're still going to put me in tights.
You never know.
How faithful are you to the comic book story? Do you hear from a lot of people when you go to Comic-Con, they're like, what do you do? It's like, this is nothing like the comic.
Daredevil's a perfect example. What's important is that Matt feels like Matt, Karen feels like Karen, Foggy feels like Foggy. If we get that part right, then we're in good shape. If all we're doing is taking the comics and blowing them up and putting them there, then the audience is sitting there going, oh, I already know what's going to happen. You just have to be careful. You don't want a Foggy running around the Daredevil costume.
What? That was season 3 to me. Foggy puts on the red suit. Bringing Power Man and Iron Fist to life. You know, Heroes for Hire. Eventually. Danny Rand's the Iron Fist series. Big question that every fan has. Is he going to wear the headpiece by the end?
You have to watch the show.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
No, these are things.
We got you out of work today. Seriously, like 9 more series. When are we going to see Cloak and Dagger? When are we going to see like a trailer for that?
We're just starting. So we're literally at the pen and paper stage of that. There you go. There you had a little scoop for yourself.
Yeah, that's huge. You've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot. Is there something like, oh, I'd love to do Western?
My honest biggest passion comes from the Universal monsters. Like,
That's your geeking out? That's what you geek out about?
total geek out.
Wow.
And the other person who geeks out about that is Jeph Johns.
Okay, for the millennials watching now who are like, what is the Universal Monster?
Well, they do know that it's Frankenstein, it's Dracula, it's the Wolfman, not werewolf, it's the Wolfman. But what people don't understand is they were doing this in the 1930s and 1940s. What we're doing now, they put them together in other movies and they fought each other.
Universal Monsters fan, does that include when they go meet like Abbott and Costello?
The best.
Really? So that's also in canon?
You see, that's the whole thing. At a certain point, yes, I hope that we get to do like Daredevil
Meets Chainsaw and Bob? Because that's what I want to do as well. Please, dude, save my career character.
All right, I'll play a little game with you, if you don't mind. These are classic lines from movies, or not. It's either real or fake.
Oh, the idea here is the birth of the cheesy one-liner usually comes from the Stallone, Schwarzenegger, or most people credit it to.
Right.
Because you wrote Commando. Commando is one of those movies that has cheesy lines in it.
I've worked with Arnold twice, working for Arnold. It's the same scene. Arnold walks in, notices something's wrong, takes his gun, shoots it in the ceiling, and all of a sudden a guy falls out of the ceiling, and he looks down and he goes, "Thanks for dropping by." To me, the quintessential Arnold Schwarzenegger scene.
Absolutely.
As long as you put that scene in, you're fine.
All right, here we go. Rest in pieces. That's a good one,
I like that one. I have no idea what it is.
Okay, but you think it's real or you think it's fake? That's a good one, right? That's Barney Ross, Stallone in Expendables. This is easy. Get off my plane.
That's Nick Cage.
No!
Harrison
Ford, Air Force One. It's really no, like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
I know.
Get off my plane is like something that a steward says to you. As you get off my plane.
There's something in your teeth. My fist.
Is that... Were you making a pass at him? I didn't, it was so low voice. I was like, wow.
It was real.
What do you think?
I'll go with real.
No? Fake?
I hear that's in Star Wars 8, and you just...
I believe that's the first line that Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker says in the new Star Wars series.
That's it. We just
What's in your teeth? It's my fist.
I'm officially ending that game now. Yeah, you, my friend, did a great job. Jeph Loeb, everybody.
Well
Jeph
done,
Loeb.
a writer's writer, the Marvel Man.
Does the band play now?